Okay, guys, I really appreciate you joining me today. I want to cover this really quick and try to make this a short video. There's a major psychological operation going on, as you guys are well aware, but I want to make you aware of something else. There are several components to a successful psychological operation, and sorry, I had to mute that. I was about to go live. Um, a couple vital components in psychological operations, some more important than others, but one of the key, most powerful, efficient, and effective parts of psychological operations is the deployment of the false dilemma. Hold on one second. What is going on here? Technological problems. Okay. I'm going live on my phone because I'm about to play you a video, and if I play it on the computer screen, they may give me a community guideline strike. I'm going to have to pause it a couple times and talk here, but I want you to see something. Let me describe to you first what a false dilemma. Let me give you an example of a false dilemma first. Here's a false dilemma. You either give up your guns. If you don't give up your guns, don't give up your firearms, then you don't love children. If you love children, you'll give up your firearms. So the purveyor, the promoter of the false dilemma is telling you you have one option or another option. There are no other options. And a lot of people, believe it or not, guys, a lot of people fall prey to this, and that's why it's so efficacious. That's why it's so effective in psychological operations. Because if you can box somebody in to one argument and give them just kind of side blinders so they can only see this one thing, and then you get them to agree with what you're saying, you can deceive a whole lot of people. And this is not a cliche, guys. When people say a lie will make its way halfway around the world before the truth has time to get its pants on, it will, because for some reason our hearts are geared toward and gravitate toward lies more than they are truth, because truth can be very uncomfortable. The truth can disrupt your life and cause great discomfort. But when you embrace it, it rewards you. A lie, on the other hand, it's like sweets to a kid. Oh, they eat that candy and it tastes so good. And it gives them that short-term rush, that short-term pleasure. See, truth doesn't give you, well, it can give you short-term pleasure, but for the most part, truth is a long-haul proposition. A lie, it gives you that burst like candy. Later on, though, you're going to have to pay the piper. You keep eating that candy, you keep succumbing to those lies, there's a payday someday. And that's why truth is the first casualty in any war. For you to get involved in a banker war, you have to mix truth with lies. And if you mix truth with lies, the psychology of mixing truth with lies is people think they got the truth and it looks good, it sounds good. Food wise, it can taste good. But not everything that tastes good for you is good for you. Matter of fact, there's a lot of things that taste really good that aren't good for you, just on the food scale. But truth has to be taken down. It has to be submerged. It has to be suppressed in order for normal people to be drawn to the battlefield. Because like I said in my video yesterday when I was doing that rant up on top of the hill, even Hermann Goering, who's basically the propaganda minister for the Nazis. He was in the Luftwaffe commander and all that kind of stuff, but he's involved heavily in psychological operations and flipping people's minds and steering them and bending them and getting behind the control panel and pushing the buttons and making people tick. They understand that they have to capsize truth in the boat of life to get you into their ocean of manipulation, so to speak, if you want to put like a metaphor on it. So you have to show people, you have to take down truth, and you have to promote lies, and you have to promote deception. And then Hitler comes along and goes, tell a lie big enough, long enough, and make it strong enough and powerful enough, and people will take that lie as the truth. And pretty soon people are just spouting all these lies, and for decades, for generations, they'll just keep on spouting this lie as though it's true. So the false dilemma is really, really good on boxing people in. It's like it's either this or it's this. There's nothing in between, and there are no other options. That's the false dilemma. So that's what I want to show you right now. If you go to a Google search, I don't care if you use Chrome, Firefox, whatever browser, you're going to see this right now. You can do it with me live. Look at this. You're going to see this. You're going to see the false dilemma on display for the entire world right now in real time. Look at this. This is Psychological Operations 101, false dilemma. And I'm going to hover over this in a second, but I want to show you. The G is in a house. The OO is staying at home. The G's in their house. The L's in its house. And the E is in its house. Look, everybody's complying and they're obeying. And look how amazingly they voice this psychological operation. I'm going to hover it over right now. Look, see what it says? Stay home, save lives. Stay home, save lives. Help stop that word that I cannot say, or I'll get my channel taken down. I'm not going to say that word. But if you stay home, you stay alive. What if you don't stay home? What's the implication? I'm about to show you the implication. The thumbnail that I chose for you, I didn't make that thumbnail. That's part of a psychological operation campaign coming out of Oregon. And I already saw a couple people saying, at least one person, I can't remember your name, I'm sorry about that, saying that you and your husband had Fox TV on and they're banging this mantra into our minds like a jackhammer. And it's going into the psychological makeup of the United States, the psychological makeup of Canadians, and, Chinese, if they're letting them watch television or whatever, Mexico, the UK, all around the world, Russia. Stay at home, save lives. Stay at home, save lives. The false dilemma: if you stay at home, you save lives. Okay, what if you don't stay home? Here, let's watch this. Check this out, guys. This is fantastic psychological operations. Don't accidentally kill someone, says Oregon C virus public service spot. It's going to be hard for me not to say this word, but I'm going to try my best not to say it because I've already got my second community guideline strike. If I get one more, my channel is freaking gone. Everything that you and I built over the years on this channel, getting together, showing truth, understanding what's going on in our world, just gone because people want to censor vital information that people have got to see. I'm going to try to, let me see if I can. I want to see if you can see this. The state of Oregon, and this, by the way, this website, what is it? campaignlive.com. They are for this ad campaign right here. They're not against it. They're for it. You're going to see this. This was put out on March 29th, but this is still going on today in spades. Turn on Fox News. It's there. Turn on the Communist News Network. It's there. Turn on MSNBC, MSLSD, CBS, ABC. Turn on any, I don't care if it's right wing or left wing. They want you to stay at home so that you can save lives. And what if you don't stay home? This is the false dilemma. This is Psychological Operations 101. And when somebody's trying to get into the gearbox of your mind and push buttons and control you, they mean to control you. Yeah, this is corrupt as hell, says HR 77. I totally agree. There is a virus, by the way, but it's not the C virus. It's the FED virus. It's the Fed virus. It's the GOV virus. It's the government virus. The state of Oregon, in a public service campaign created by Whedon and Kennedy Portland, doesn't mince words. Don't accidentally kill someone. This chilling thought is the centerpiece of one anxiety-provoking yellow tape spot that warns Oregonians to stay home to avoid spread of this virus. And guys, the implication couldn't be more clear. Let me get this closer here so you can see this. Don't accidentally kill someone also closes out a second, warmer PSA that lauds the ordinary heroes of these times: nurses, doctors, bus drivers, janitors who continue to work as they support others. Guess what? These heroes are exempt from staying at home. Hey, you can spread the virus if you're a nurse, but you got to understand, Brian, somebody's got to take care of you. You can spread the virus if you're a doctor. And this isn't an exhaustive list. You can spread the virus if you're a driver or a janitor. You can spread the virus if you're military. You can spread the virus if you're police. You can spread the virus if you're part of the House or the Senate or anybody in government, but anybody else, no, you got to stay at home. See, they don't care about spreading the virus. They just want you to stay in your house. They want to control you. You can see it all the time, guys. I'm going to turn this back around for a second so I can talk to you. You can see it all the time. The hypocrisy couldn't be more clear. The COVID response team, the C, damn, I said the word, shoot. The C virus response task force is standing behind Trump or standing behind Anthony Fauci or standing behind Deborah Birx, and they're all shoulder to shoulder, right next to each other. They're not practicing social distancing, but they'll throw your ass in jail if you don't practice social distancing. Look, I wasn't going to show you this, but somebody sent me this yesterday. Look at this. I might as well go. This is appropriate. This is very appropriate. I'm going to show you this. Here, I got to turn this around twice. I don't know why. This is a glitch in the system. What is up with that? Watch this. Look at this guy. You want to see somebody practicing social distancing, and yet he still gets his ass thrown in jail? Watch this. This is from the YouTube channel. Go ahead and give him props. Eric Min Swenson. And the name of the video is Malibu Surfers Arrested During Coronavirus. Damn, I said the word. Shoot, it's hard not to. It's hard to censor yourself, you know? Let me show you something. Check this out. This guy is out there all by himself, minding his own business, practicing. Could you get any more socially distant than being out in the ocean by yourself around nobody? No way. Even if C virus was contagious, which it doesn't look like it is, guys. It doesn't look like it is. I'm not making any kind of assertions, guys, but it doesn't look like it is. I'm not a medical healthcare professional. I don't have my doctorate. I don't have a PhD, but it sure from my research, it doesn't look like this thing is the contagion that they're talking about. But this guy's definitely practicing social distancing. And the Coast Guard cutters, this is a Coast Guard cutter, this is a Coast Guard cutter, they're going to start surrounding this guy and push him towards shore into the arms of badged, uniformed, costumed enforcers and force him into a situation where he can't social distance. Watch this. I'm not going to play this whole thing because I don't want to get a copyright or community guideline strike. Look, here's the cops on the beach waiting for them to flush him out onto the shoreline. He's practicing social distancing, which is more than I can see for our political parasites who are shoulder to shoulder as they tell you to social distance. Look at this. They're surrounding him, flushing him out towards shore, backing up, steering him onto the shore. Cops ready to engage him. Amazing hypocrisy. And I'm not giving, look, I beg you guys who are in uniform, please stop doing this. Stop violating your oath. I'm literally, if I could get on my knees and just beg you guys, please, you guys are the enforcement arm of the politicians. Please stop being order followers. If you weren't order followers, we could actually live free. If you guys would open your minds and start thinking for yourselves and act morally, and look at this guy's got a smile on his face. You'll see, I'll show you in a second. They're on their cell phones. They're just kind of laughing about this whole thing. You guys know you're taking away freedoms against your oath to the Constitution to support and uphold and defend and protect it against all enemies, foreign and domestic, including invisible enemies. So I am asking you guys in military and police, please think about this. You're arresting your fellow human beings, your fellow Americans. If you're a member of the Australian police or a member of the New Zealand police or a member of the Mexican police or the Canadian police or in the UK, remember, you're a human being. Don't just follow orders. Follow morality. Follow your heart. You know what you're doing is wrong if you're arresting people for violating these edicts of social distancing. You know in your heart this is all BS. All you EMTs, all you doctors, all you nurses out there, this is BS. You know your hospitals aren't full. Is it buffering, guys? Can you guys hear me okay? Give me a 5x5 if you can hear me, if you can see this okay. I want you to see this. This is super, super important. It is fine. Yeah, we call BS, says Patriot 556. Look at this. Watch this. There's not many, I mean, there's sound, but there's nobody talking. So the Coast Guard gets together and they flush this guy out onto the shore. This guy right here, the guy who filmed this doesn't show him actually go into their arms, but you can tell they put him in the back of the squad car. They steal his surfboard. This is the surfboard he was on. So they steal private property. They kidnap somebody, arresting him when all he was doing was exercising his right to just be out in the ocean and float around by himself. This is how ridiculous it's become. But Brian, you don't understand. We got to save people from COVID, whatever, the C-19. Here, I'm going to show you. Let's see. They don't show him. They don't actually show the guy in the squad car. But look, let me show you. Hold on. All right, these badged enforcers, both of them are on their phones. This guy's on his phone. And they're just kind of chilling out, watching as individual rights are eroded. It's horrible. What's going on is absolutely horrible. Yeah, Bam Bam Niner says that's horrible. What else did you say, Bam Bam? So sad we have allowed ourselves to get to this point, and it truly is, guys. Please, oh my God, share this video. Talk to a law enforcer. Get into their head and try to set brush fires of freedom in that man's mind or that woman's mind. Look at this. This guy's on his cell phone. It's like, yeah, this guy right here. They already have him in the back of the car. This guy's talking to him. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how they try to shove this surfboard into this cruiser here. Watch this. This is stolen property, guys. These are thieves, and they're laughing. They're just laughing about this. Yeah, we stole this guy's property. This is hilarious. Stop being order followers, guys. We literally need you human beings in uniform to come to your senses and end this nonsense. Don't be the enforcement arm of the politicians. Stop enacting these individual rights trampling orders. Stop stealing people's property. Stop kidnapping people. Stop fining them for breaking governor's edicts and mayoral edicts. Mayor edicts. Stop penalizing somebody because they want to open up their business so they can feed their families and not go broke. Now let me show you this psychological operation. Okay, so you got Google saying, stay home, save lives. The implication is if you don't stay home, you're not going to save lives. And basically that's what this campaign is saying. Don't accidentally kill somebody. Let's see, where are we at? Additionally, the Stay at Home Save Lives campaign spans state Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter pages where the profile picture asks, did you accidentally kill someone today? This is getting to such a point, guys, where they're literally going to start saying, if you go outside your house, you could be charged with murder. If somebody gets sick and they happen to be in your zone of influence when you were out and you were disobeying our edicts, you could be charged with murder. That's where this is going. Don't think it won't. That's exactly what's happening. And this is the psychological operation of the false dilemma. And they're only giving you two choices. Stay home and save lives. Go out of your home and kill accidentally. That's how off the hook, open your mind and take your brain out this has become. This is literally what's going on. And nobody's thinking. I saw Victor Blackwell from the Communist News Network interviewing that pastor, what's his name, Tony Spell from Louisiana, saying, but you don't understand. If you go to church, you're going to cost lives. All right, I'm going to get to that in a second. I might do a video on that. Let me turn this around twice so you can see clearly. Governor Kate Brown said the public awareness campaign. She debuted the public awareness campaign today in conjunction with the Oregon Health Authority at Wheaton Kennedy. And she says this: we are facing an unprecedented crisis. There's another false dichotomy. Guys, think about what they're saying. Don't question it. We're in a crisis. Take our word for it. It is a crisis. Even though their own CDC numbers show that since October 1st, 2019, just a couple of months ago, we've already lost 30,000 lives to the regular influenza epidemic or influenza virus, whatever you want to call it. Influenza, regular influenza. 30,000 people have died, but nobody's closing down for that. It's like all rationality has just flown the cuckoo's nest. It's gone. It's out of here. It's being trampled. It's being pulverized, incinerated even. 30,000 lives have been lost through regular influenza just in America. About 20,000 people have already died this year from January 1st to April just from taking regular pharmaceutical drugs as prescribed by a doctor. Like 20,000 people have already died. But nobody's closing up business for that. Nobody's closing up business for regular influenza and never have. Nobody's ever closed businesses on a nationwide, let alone a global scale for TB. You know how virulent TB is? You know how infectious tuberculosis is? Last I checked in 2018, 10 million people got TB and 1.5 million people died from it. TB is still around and is more infectious than CV-19 ever thought about being. But nobody's closing businesses for that. Why? Because there's an agenda. TB's been around for a long time, but not the novel coronavirus. This is novel. And we have a crisis, says Kate Brown, Governor Kate Brown of Oregon. We are facing an unprecedented crisis. Guess what, Kate? Historically, no, we're not. Not even close. Not even close to a historical crisis. But you still want us locked in our houses, don't you? I wonder why that is. It's not because we have an unprecedented historical crisis. It's something else. What do you think it is? Turn this around and we'll finish this out. None of us have been through anything like this before. You're right. We've been through way, way worse. Now, none of us have been locked in our houses before on such a global scale. The panic hasn't been as widespread, but it's not because of a crisis. It's because of a big, fat, ugly, agenda-driven, narrative-filled lie. That's why. Brown said, the single most important thing each of us can do to protect our community and frontline workers, the single most important thing each of us can do, guys. Think about this. The single most important thing we can do to save lives right now is stay at home. What's the implication? If the single most important thing is to stay home, then the single most destructive and dastardly and evil thing that you could do is not stay home. And this is pounded into your brains in every single way imaginable on every station. Phone News, Laura Ingram's talking about it. Sean Hannity's talking about it. Brian Stelter on CNN's talking about it. Jake the Snake Tapper is talking about it. Not Mike Wallace, but that Wallace guy is talking about it. ABC's talking about it. Brian Williams is talking about it. And you know you can believe him because he was shot down with an RPG while he was in a helicopter. And he kept that lie going for 10 years and he's still on MSLSD, spouting nonsense and lies. It's a joke. They've lied to us for, it's like I used an analogy the other day. It's like having that uncle, that drunk, drug-ridden uncle that nobody loves and nobody cares about because he's such a dastardly guy. Every time he's around, watches are gone, jewelry's missing, the kids' lunch money's gone. He's stealing stuff. He's always lying about stuff. It's like us saying, oh no, come on in, uncle. We believe you now after decades and decades of you lying to us. Why? Is anybody, including in the truth community, I might give other people a pass because they've already drank the Kool-Aid. They're already laying on the ground in Guyana with their sun-baked bodies and the vultures swirling around. They're gone. They've been gone for a long time. But not you guys in the truth community, not the come and take it crowd, not the from my cold dead hands. Where are we? Where are the cold dead hands, guys? From my cold, dead hands. God, that sounds good, doesn't it? God, it sounds good. What's up, Jeff is here, Audits? Your friendly neighborhood dealer. What's going on? Oh, yeah, somebody made a good point. Flat Earth Preacher says, oh, wait, that wasn't Flat Earth. Stony Bonehead says, is HIV as contagious as CV? I don't have either one, so I don't know. Well, the way they say it, if a virus can live outside the body for that long, why wouldn't we be more concerned about HIV? It's a virus. Why is nobody worried about that? Oh, that's right, because it's been with us for a long time, and we needed to come up with something novel, something new that we've never seen before. We can't all of a sudden say, yeah, HIV's been around since the 80s. Now we need to be scared of it. No, that wouldn't fly. But what would fly is if something new came out of Wuhan, China, and all these people died with the advent of 5G, coincidentally. Interesting. Am I making a correlation? Nah, just food for thought. All right, let's see. Let's go on with this. As the coronavirus death, dang, I said it again. As the CV death toll passes 2,000 in the United States, it's, this was written on the 29th. So, their fake numbers are higher now. Fake numbers are higher. The United States Saturday afternoon and reached 20 in Oregon. This is old numbers. Adjacent to the hotspot of Washington, the pull no punches tone makes a lot of sense. In the spot, and we're going to watch this in a second, guys. I'm going to have to pause it, though. Let me see if I got because you got to hear the audio with it. In the spot, which features a pumping ventilator soundtrack, wonder why that is, a series of statements unbearably unwind over 30 seconds. And here's the quote from the actual text that they use that we're going to watch. 1.4% of all Oregonians could die. An average person knows 600 people, which means 5 people could lose their lives. Your kids, school teacher, your neighbor, your teacher, your barista. You get the daunting point. Okay, let's watch this. And then we're going to go over to what these people who actually steered the ad campaign said. Listen to this. Here we go. Let me make sure my sound's turned up because you got to hear the ventilator. Is the sound up? Dang, the sound's all the way up. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it. Listen. We will continue to spread the coronavirus. 1.4 of all Oregonians could die. You got to use that movie soundtrack voice, that cinematic trailer voice. An average person knows 600 people, which means 5 people could lose their lives. Your kid, school teacher, your neighbor, your teammate, barista, doctor, hairstylist, friend, grandmother, uncle, sister, mother, stepbrother, partner, child. It's up to you how many people live or die. Don't accidentally kill someone. Guys, this is a real ad campaign. I'm going to show you the YouTube video. They disabled the comments. I wonder why. Because you can't have people with dissenting voices weighing in. Otherwise, people start waking up and going, oh yeah, there is another option. There is another way to look at this. Stay home, save lives. Now, this is completely disconnected, or is it? Completely disconnected from Google. Google says what? Stay home, save lives, help stop CV-19. Now I'm going to show you, here's the actual YouTube video. And of course, it has 32,000, it was released March 27th. They disabled the like versus dislike and the comments. Here, let me see. Darn, this is so frustrating. The comments are turned off. Why are the comments turned off? That is part of censorship. Because if you have a lot of people weighing in and giving their opinions and going, well, you know what? I know that you're involved in this false dichotomy, but there's another way to look at this. You're saying stay home and save lives, like that's the only alternative. What if, let me just throw this out there, okay? And YouTube, I'm not making any assertions. I'm not making any assertions at all. Nope, I'm not making any statements at all. What if there was another way to look at this? What if by staying home, you cost more lives than if you went outside and went about your business and opened your business and did what everybody else does on a normal day when influenza is running amok, or when TB ran amok, or when HIV was running amok, or name any infectious disease, guys. Any infectious disease. What if we just went on as business as normal and just really didn't believe mainstream media? What if we just didn't believe what Gary Fauci was cramming down our throats every single day? Deborah Burke, social distancing, as they're standing right next to each other. Probably going out and having a nice little dinner and drink afterwards, laughing about how gullible we all are. Can you believe it? We stood in front of millions of people not practicing social distancing, and here they are, not only practicing social distancing, but we have our law enforcement officers going out there arresting people for doing the very thing we did in front of millions of people, which isn't practicing social distancing. So the false dichotomy, the false dilemma is, if you stay home, you'll save people. If you exit your home, you're going to cost lives. What do you think the chances are that if you obey the government, if you do exactly what the government says, that you're headed in the absolutely wrong direction if you want to save lives? Well, historically, it bears out, doesn't it? We believed them during the Gulf of Tonkin, and that led us into 58,000 servicemen dying, plus 1.5 to 3 million casualties of war in Vietnam, because we believed the Gulf of Tonkin, which never happened, and it came out as a declassified. There was no North Vietnamese torpedo boats bombing the USS Maddox. And then LBJ says later, well, for all we know, they were shooting at whales. 58,000 people died. We put this monument in Washington, D.C. with all these soldiers' names on it. They got slaughtered. Families got separated, ripped apart because their sons and their daughters and their fathers died in a banker's war because of a lie that was foisted by the government and mainstream media, helped propagate and facilitate it. And it led to more death than it would have. And then Vietnam makes Charles de Gaulle, from the Prime Minister of France, look up and go, how the hell did they fund that? How could they fund it after in 1945 they had this Bretton Woods agreement where they pegged the dollar to $35 an ounce gold? What's going on here? You can't fund that if you have sound money. That had to cost billions and billions of dollars. And I know America doesn't have it, but they do have our gold. What's going on here? Send the ships across the Atlantic, go get our gold, and give them this worthless fiat currency. And from that day on, that's when August 15th, 1971 happened. And Nixon sat in front of the television set and said, we have got to stop the international speculators. We're going to defend the dollar against the speculators. So I've ordered Secretary Connolly to suspend, in other words, decouple the dollar from gold. And then the bankers had a free check. Now they could willy-nilly spend all that they wanted. Because the founding fathers knew that if you wanted freedom, you had to constrain the hands of the international speculators and the international bankers. The international banking cartel, all they needed was a blank check. That's why Amschel Rothschild said, and guys, this false dichotomy thing, this mass propaganda campaign where Google's telling you stay in your house, save lives for the C virus, is all linked with international banking. Because Amschel Rothschild said, give me control over a nation's money supply, and I don't give a damn who makes the laws. I don't even recognize people who make laws because I have the purse strings. You politicians, you want money, you come to us. You want to find out who controls the levers of power? Well, we do, because we own your currency now. Thank you, Tricky Dick Nixon from August 15th, 1971, for closing the gold window and decoupling precious metals from that fiat currency. That's what happened. And then what happened to the dollar, guys? What happened to the dollar after it was decoupled? It sought its normal rate, which is zero, and it crashed. And then they had to do something, and then Kissinger stepped in, Henry Kissinger, Zio Kissinger, hater of mankind Kissinger, stepped in to save the day. And in 1973, he struck a deal with Saudi Arabia and the OPEC oil nations to peg the dollar with oil. And what was the trade-off? You get unlimited access to our military, and we will defend your oil fields if, and here's the agreement, all the nations who want oil, because all nations have to have a ready source of energy. There's no more ready source of energy than pumping black gold out of the earth. If you're Japan, if you're the UK, if you're any other nation, you have to convert your currency. You have to buy dollars. And so they created this artificial demand for dollars because they had to have dollars to buy oil. And that propped up our dollar. So there's two things that prop up the dollar: the artificial demand and the might and power of the US military, which isn't our military. It's the bankers' military. That's why we call it the military industrial complex. They're not for you. That's why if you have any president, I don't care if it's a Reagan, I don't care if it was a Carter or a Ford or a Bush or a Clinton or an Obama or a Trump. If anybody gives the military industrial complex an increase, like Trump just did with 5.8%, like Obama did with 4.3%, the military industrial complex gets an increase, they're automatically not make America great again. They're make Zionists great again. They're make the international bankers great again. The only reason our fiat currency is anything right now, and the only reason anybody takes that paper, toilet paper, seriously, is because of the power and might of the US military that will come and ruin your day, your year, your nation, destroy your people, take your food, exact maximum pressure campaigns and sanctions on you, as if you even think about trying to go off the dollar. Which is exactly what Saddam Hussein did in October of 2000. He said, screw this. We're selling our oil in euros. We're going to buy our things in euros. And then what happened? We had a catastrophic and catalyzing event that was predicted by the Project for the New American Century, Wolfowitz, and that whole cabinet, Bush cabinet, that cabal, that Zionist cabal, said we need a catalyzing and catastrophic event like a new Pearl Harbor, and bingo, on the morning of 9/11, 2001, we had our catalyzing event. And what did we do? We marched our asses right in there to the Middle East. We took a hold of Saddam Hussein's neck. We took that euro that they went to and converted it back to the dollar. The whole nation lost 17% of value and went into the poorhouse, and we devastated them. And then we heard of this guy named Gaddafi. We came, we saw, he died. Who said that? Oh, it's Clinton. She must be in the same box with puppet. She's the same puppet in the same box with Obama and with Bill Clinton and with Trump. Gaddafi, we came, we saw, he died. Ha ha, he came, he saw, we died. Why did she come and see and die? Because Gaddafi said, screw the dollar. We see where this is going. We're totally enslaved to the international banking cartel. We're moving our dollar assets into the gold-based dinar. Boom, dead. Didn't take long. You don't mess with the dollar. The dollar is the world reserve currency. But guess who's messing with the dollar now? It's Trump. How did he mess with the dollar? He did it through the globalist pen, $6.2 trillion. If you got any questions about it, look at my last video, and I got another video that I'll link down here. It just shows what he did. It's not my speculation. Oh, you're a libtard because you're against Trump. Oh my God. No, I'm anti-globalist. I'm anti-banker. I'm pro-freedom. I'm pro-America. I'm sick of this socialism. Socialism is on our land. Have you seen the bread lines? There's socialist lines where our fellow Americans have been degraded by the bankers through the pen of $6.2 trillion Trump, who signed away not only our lives, but the lives of generations you will never know about. Enslaving them, shackling them to the international bankers. We freaking lost our country. It's gone. It's gone. I don't even know if there's hope. All we can do is just shed the light, and hopefully some kernel of truth will land in somebody's mind and somebody's heart, and brush fires of freedom will start. Here's the hope that I have with freedom, guys, and I'll continue with this story about the 6.2 million. Do you realize no matter how oppressive an atmosphere gets, freedom can never die? If you go to a supermax federal prison, there's freedom there. They start operating in what the government would call the black market. That's just a way to denigrate the free market. When the government calls something black market, it's not evil. The government is evil. The black market, I'm not saying people don't do evil things in the black market, but in and of itself, it's just people having voluntary interaction going, oh, you got that bag of WEED? I got some money. I'd like some WEED. That's illegal. These psychopaths in government have made it illegal. But I'd like to buy some. Let's have just a mutually consensual, voluntary interaction and transaction. Here's my money, and I'd like to get that product. I don't care if it's cocaine. I don't care if it's heroin. I don't care if it's Jack Daniels. I don't care if it's a paperclip. If you do that apart from government and you escape, and then they demonize everybody who goes outside of their system. Have you ever noticed? Let me just ask you this. What if you had a relationship where you made somebody love you, you made somebody hug you, and you made somebody kiss you every single day. That's not love, but that's exactly what government does. You can't opt out. If you have a relationship where you can't opt out, what kind of relationship is that? It's not natural. It's literally the definition of evil. Coming against somebody against their will and without their consent. That's what government always does. But they look at you bad and go, oh God, that Brian over there, he's got that high impact vlogs channel and he's anti-government, as though that were evil. Saying you're anti-government is literally saying, guys, it's being anti-government is anti-slavery. Being anti-government is anti-evil. It's anti-corruption. Being anti-government is anti-cabal. It's anti-dishonesty. But they switch government and government functionaries and mainstream media, corporate media, who's in the back pocket of government. See, listen, you got to understand something about corporate media. They are literally the propaganda arm of the military industrial complex. They're in the back pocket of the cabal. Oh, the cabal, he's talking about, he's just such a conspiracy